Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 26, 2025 Planning Board meeting. I'd like to start with a pledge, please. Allegiance to the flag of a few announcements. Emergency exits are to your left and right on the sides of the room. The restrooms are out the back and to the left. Please be sure to sign the attendance sheet that's on the back table if you have not already, whether or not you're a developer or a presenter with an application. If you need contact information for the planning board staff, there are business cards on the back table next to the sign-in sheet. Also on the back table is are copies of resolutions that will be read tonight along with the agenda. Please silence your cell phones so it doesn't disrupt those who are presenting to the board or disrupt any deliberations. And also, please take any conversations you may wish to have amongst yourselves out into the hallway and close the doors so that it does not, again, disrupt the meeting. Thank you. We have one set of meeting minutes for approval on the 22nd of July. Anyone have anything for Lisa? Scott? No? Joe? Okay. Entertain a motion for approval. Al moves.
Second.
Joe seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Any correspondence we've received are in packets?
None.
And so currently, Drew Cusimano is the town board representative. Is he here this evening?
I've seen him.
I don't see him, so we won't have a town board report. And Lisa, if you could review the upcoming agenda for the next planning board meeting.
Okay, so your next meeting is September 23rd. We do not have a meeting on September 9th. So the 23rd, you have La Menzo short-term rental special use located at 1227 Red Fox Run. Applicant is requesting approval to operate a short-term rental out of their home. Your next one is Wilkinson Fence at 439 Fisher Road. In the LDD, applicant is requesting approval to install a 4-foot high fence along the perimeter of their property. I believe it's Galus in-ground pool at 7885 Hidden Oaks, also in the LDD. Applicant is requesting approval to install a 15-foot by 35-foot Goodnight in-ground swimming pool. Your next one is Sheldon Site Plan, 1480 Strong Road. This is part of the O'Neill subdivision you saw many years ago. Applicant is requesting approval to construct a new single-family home with an on-site well, leach field, storage barn, and an in-ground pool on 12.10 acre parcel. And then any carryovers? Mm-hmm.
There are 6 items on the agenda this evening. There are some, those that have been removed include the Stewart Tree Service Site Plan, the Bow Wow Dog Salon, Element by Weston at Eastview Mall, and Timberview Estates subdivision. So those have all been removed until our next meeting. If you're here for those, you don't need to stay. But we do have 6 others, and the first one up is public hearing. It's a TRIA site plan modification. Applicants requesting approval to construct an 8-foot by 4-foot duck coop and a 200-foot fence, 6 feet in height, connecting the rear of the house to the front of the existing barn. This is in a LDD district, so that's why it's before the board. So is the applicant here?
Yes.
Step right up. Name, address, and if you could give us an outline of your project.
Name is Tom Tria, address is 453 Fishers Road. So looking to construct an 8-foot by 4-foot duck coop within my currently fenced-in area and add a 200-foot fence connecting the house to the barn, which is existing now.
Your property is bisected by the Auburn Trail, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. As I was reviewing this information, I said, I've walked by that place before. So you currently have different farm animals on site. I think you had horse last time I remember.
That was the previous owners,
Oh, okay.
just ducks.
All right, just the ducks is what you're looking for. Okay. So, open it up to the town board, or the planning board. Joe?
It looks pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. Al?
No issues.
Okay. Scott?
I don't have any issues.
All right. I don't have issues either. It's certainly a perfectly acceptable place to put one, and as I mentioned earlier, you're in an LDD, so that's why you're before us,
Correct.
to give your neighbors an opportunity to comment. So it is a public hearing, and I'll open up the floor. Is there anyone here that wishes to ask questions of the applicant? Okay.
So I do have a question, though. I'm reading the letter from May 12th about future plans. Would he need to come back to the board for those? And we're only going to approve or not what he's requested, the pond and the fence today?
Yes, if any of those future plans require approval because it's in an LDD, then yes, he would come before the board.
And stopping in at the planning board office could give him guidance on that, right? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So, all right, sure. Seeing no one from the public, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move.
Al moves,
Second?
and Joe seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing's closed, unless anyone else. Wes, any questions, comments? Okay. We did have a draft resolution prepared, so I think without objection, I believe we can move forward with this. So whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, and there are 6 of them, now therefore be it resolved that the application of Thomas Tria, site plan entitled Tria Site Plan Modification, located in the Limited Development District, be approved with the following conditions. Conditions to be addressed prior to chairman's signature on the site plan, that no final signatures will be given on the plans until all legal and engineering fees have been paid per reimbursement law adopted November 25th, 1996. Ongoing conditions that the site plan comply with the Town of Victor design and construction standards, and that the building permit be obtained prior to construction of the fence and coop. And be it further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move it.
Scott moves,
I'll second.
and Al seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried 4-0. If you have any questions, see Lisa in the planning office. Otherwise, you're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If we all go that fast, we'll be done in 15 minutes. Next one up, Cheshire Ridge sketch plan. This is not a public hearing. Applicants requesting acknowledgement of complete application to create 2 new single-family lots on a 3/4 acre site along the south side of Cheshire Ridge. It's up at Cobblestone. This is the first step of a major subdivision, and only acknowledgement of a completed application will be considered at the meeting. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Destro from BME Associates, here on behalf of the applicant Cobblestone Creek LLC. We are here for a sketch plan application for the Cheshire Ridge subdivision. It's located at Cobblestone Creek. This proposal is for a subdivision to create 2 new single-family lots on .74 acres, as mentioned. It's along the south side of Cheshire Ridge, and it's in between 11 Cheshire Ridge and 1 Sheffield Court within the Cobblestone Creek subdivision, and the property is zoned residential R-2. Just to give a quick recap, the preliminary subdivision approval for the overall Cobblestone Creek development was granted by the planning board on June 27th, 1989. The approval, which included 282 single-family lots, was granted under Section 281 at the time, which is now Section 278 of Town Law, and also Article 5 of the Victor Town Subdivision Regulations. Now, while 282 single-family lots were approved, to date, only 270 single-family lots have been created. The existing adjoining lots were established in 1997 as part of Section 4 of the Cobblestone Creek development. The proposed 2 new lots, as shown on the screen, have been designed to meet all applicable bulk lot standards of the existing adjoining lots as part of the Section 4 approval, with the exception of lot depth. The minimum lot depth for the new lots is proposed to be 127 feet instead of 150 feet, and this is really just to provide an additional buffer between the Cobblestone Creek Country Club course and the proposed single-family lots. As such, we will be requesting that the planning board modify the clustering provisions that were established for the existing adjoining lots as part of the Cobblestone Creek development, and this would be to allow the minimum lot depth of 127 feet for the two new lots. With regards to utilities, both lots will be served by public water via new service connections to the existing Monroe County Water Authority public water main, which is located along the north side of Cheshire Ridge, and then connections to the existing public gravity sanitary sewer system and storm sewer system along the south side of Cheshire Ridge will also be made via new sanitary lateral and storm laterals connections. With regards to stormwater management, the proposed soil disturbance for the two single-family lots is under 1 acre. Therefore, New York State Speedy's general permit coverage for discharges from construction activity is not required, nor are any new post-construction stormwater management facilities are required. They're not required per the New York State DEC Stormwater Management Design Manual. With that, as mentioned, we are seeking acknowledgement of a complete application for the sketch plan application tonight. We did receive just a couple minor comments from the town engineer as well as the town code enforcement officer, to which we've already responded in writing yesterday in a letter dated August 25th, 2025. And with that being said, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start on the left this time, I guess. Scott, anything?
I don't have a lot of
applicant?
questions. The one question that did kind of pop up is just relative to lot depth. And just looking at your plat here, it looks like you have 150 feet on the west and the east sides, but you have 115 in the center?
Yeah, so the way the code reads for lot depth, it's an average along the rear property line.
I see.
So that's how you come up with the 127.
So if you made the center lot line 150 feet, what problem would that cause
So
relative to your
there's,
photo site?
it's along hole number 15 at Cobblestone Creek Country Club, and it just happens to be in an area where people could lose their drive to the right a little bit in that area. So it's just providing a little buffer area. You can see the edge of the fairway, and then there is a little bit of a dump-off area just over the sand traps on the lower portion of the aerial. So it's really just to provide an additional buffer for those lots.
Okay, I have no more questions.
Al?
So were these lots not part of the original plan approval?
Correct.
So we're creating two new lots that essentially, again, you could make the lot lines effectively any way that you
Correct.
would like to, okay.
Yep.
No other questions at this time.
Okay, Joe?
I don't, I'm interested in what the town engineer's comments are, though.
Okay. He's always got interesting things to say.
Well, some of the issues are a little arcane, and I think he's better suited to speak to them, so.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Joe.
Sure.
Wes Petty, Labella Associates. So we had a comment letter, we published it on August 15th. And, let's see, we're just looking to have a short EAF prepared when they submit a preliminary application. And, lot standards notes, there were a few notes on this sketch plan that I had a question on, just looking for them to confirm, the proposed rear yard setback.
Supposed to be a foot symbol. It was just a typo.
Well, and then in addition to that, in addition to the inches versus feet, the graphic shows a 40-foot rear setback as opposed to a 30-foot. So maybe we'll double check that
Yeah,
in
we'll check
preliminary
that.
as well. Not a huge issue for sketch plan. And then just identify that the driveway setback, we want that to read driveway setback to side lot line. And then we just called out, as the applicant has already done, that they are looking for the planning board to reduce the lot depth from 150 feet to 127 feet. So nothing too technical at this point. It's sketch plan. I think they've satisfied the requirements for submission of a sketch plan, so I don't have anything further at this point.
I had something that I brought up to us a little while ago regarding the adjacent parcel. And I was looking at it this afternoon, the aerial, and if you'll notice either on Google Earth Street View or the aerial, there's a significant amount of, I'll call it encroachment landscaping from the Freitas, 1 Sheffield Court property. The house, first of all, is 3 feet from the property line, and the landscaping easily goes another 10 feet with some large trees and some, at both backyard, side yard, and front yard. So have you looked at that, and can you comment on it?
So if you do look at the grading plan, we did incorporate or allow for a couple of there's 2 or 3 pine trees along the eastern edge of that house that you're referencing on the west side of lot number 1. We did slide the lot number 1 house over to the east as much as possible. The grading does allow for the existing trees to be maintained, and then also the side setback of the adjoining lots on either side that were approved with section 4, as I mentioned previously. That side setback was 8 feet. We're proposing 20 feet to the existing adjoining lots to provide an additional side lot buffer to account for that encroachment by that one lot. And then we're also proposing a 15-foot side setback in between the 2 new lots as well. So we're going above and beyond the 8-foot side setback to account for that.
I appreciate that. More concerned that the future owner of parcel 1, how do you discern what landscaping becomes then that owner's rather than what's owned by
Yeah,
the
well,
1 Sheffield Court?
I mean, I don't know if it's a landscaping bed that might be right along the property line in the front portion of the house, but the trees, I don't know that there's any landscaping beds necessarily around them, so it would just be an additional tree buffer to remain.
Understanding this isn't a public hearing, at the next meeting for preliminary plans, we certainly would entertain any comments that the adjacent owners would have regarding that. I mean, I even see this concrete walkway on one of your your sketch plan that is on this parcel 1. So I'm a little confused, or at least concerned, as how that was approved to be so close to the lot line. I understand that it was, at the time, not a developable lot, if you will, more for maintenance probably, or access to the golf course itself, but this is why we try not to improve these, and I know it's not your issue, but there's reasons for side setbacks that should be considered for every lot, not just ones that there are buildable lots adjacent to each other. But I appreciate the effort that you've made about the 20-foot side setback. I'm sure the fire department would be pleased to have that extra space, or emergency services. So, I don't know, Wes, can you bring that up on the screen, perhaps?
So Joe, I guess that kind of gets to my question. It was like, if these were not approved building lots, like how does that lot line encroach so close to adjacent property?
You mean, how does the adjacent house encroach so closely to the lot
Well,
line?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
it's not the property's fault, I guess, sorry. I don't know. I don't know what was approved when that building permit was issued, if there was a formal request for side setback variance, all that. I don't see it's an easy thing to change. I would almost have thought that that lot line should have been adjusted for this application. Maybe that's what
kinda
you're
where
thinking.
My head was going,
Yeah.
yes.
So I would be interested to have you look at that further.
Sure.
Because we really do need to make these lots comply with the town code as much as possible, especially when it comes to a side setback on the adjacent parcel so close to the line. So, because that really restricts their access to the side of the house with anything but a 3-foot wide lawnmower. So, just saying.
Understand. I mean, we can only control these two lots, but we'll certainly
Correct.
reach out and see
Yeah.
if there's anything that can be done.
All right. Did that help?
Yes, it did, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I see as a major concern from my perspective.
Okay.
And as Wes indicated, I think we're in pretty good shape for the sketch plan completeness, so we can move forward with your application by agreeing that you've provided the complete sketch plan, and then we can move on with questions at the next review. So, Wes, did you bring?
Yeah, I've
Yep.
got, also got the Google Earth image here.
Yeah, okay. You can zoom in on that upper left there?
Here?
Yeah. So, just for the benefit of those who are here, and this is the lot line, and there's 3 feet between there and the house, but there's a lot of landscaping that, I know that these are just tax map lines, but the landscaping has gone quite a bit beyond the lot line, all along the side of the house. So, maintenance of that would be an issue, ownership for sure, and I think we really need to address that more formally in the next step of this application. That's my opinion. So, any other comments from the board? Questions?
I agree with your comment. It's good catch.
Okay. All right, well, having said that, thank you, Wes, for bringing that up. Susie can switch back to the agenda items again. We do have a resolution for sketch plan completeness that we'll move forward with. So on the Cheshire Ridge subdivision sketch plan application, number 1 SK 2025, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, there are 6 of them. Now therefore be it resolved that regarding the sketch plan application of Shale Kessler, Cobblestone Creek LLC, major subdivision entitled Cheshire Ridge subdivision, drawn by BME Associates, dated July 2025, received by the planning board July 22nd, 2025. Planning board application 1 SK 2025. The planning board acknowledges receipt of a complete sketch plat application, and be it further resolved that the planning board secretary forward a copy of this resolution to the applicant. Hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Scott moves. And Joe seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Excellent.
on
Thank
to
you
the
for your
next
time.
step. Thank you. So the next item is Norbert Solar Farm. This public hearing has been closed at the last meeting. The applicant's requesting approval to develop 4.428 megawatt solar energy facility on 34.93 acre parcel consisting of forest and meadowland. Since the last meeting, we've had decommissioning plan prepared, and we look to potentially review part 2 of the EAF at this meeting. So, good evening, James.
Good evening, everyone. I'm James Creticos. I'm with BME Associates. Also here with me is Megan Serini from our office, as well as Victor Chacha, the applicant. As Mr. Logan just said, we really have no updates from our last meeting. The only thing that occurred was we were in front of the town board last night to begin our discussions on the decommissioning agreement. We'll obviously be back in front of them. They didn't take any actions. They did request, and Wes may be able to articulate this better, that we, or this board, make a positive referral of the decommissioning agreement over to them, as opposed to just a regular referral based on kind of how town code language.
And we're
states.
prepared to do that, so.
So otherwise, I think we're here just available to answer questions as you guys go through part 2. If you need any clarifications or additional information, we'd be happy to provide it.
Okay. I understand from Lisa that we just got, like, the revised decommissioning plan, was it today? So you may not have seen it. Never mind, I'm confused. Ignore what I just said. And I saw the confused look on your face, James.
Pretty sure, yeah, we got comments from
Never mind.
Bella a couple weeks ago and provided a revised version of that.
Yeah,
I think
no,
we're current to
I'm
date.
thinking of another agenda item, so, we do have, a recommendation, a resolution recommending the Norwood Solar Farm decommissioning plan to the town board, which I will read, unless anything else, Wes, did you have before we?
Yeah, just to articulate again, the town board, the town code requires that the planning board make a recommendation to the town board on the decommissioning plan. So even though at the last meeting, the planning board informally referred the decommissioning plan, it actually needs to be in the form of a written recommendation. So the draft resolution that you have in front of you recommends the decommissioning plan be reviewed, considered by the town board, and authorizes town staff to memorialize the planning board's recommendation in a memo to the town board.
Okay, so, yeah, this is kind of a directive to the staff to prepare said decommissioning plan resolution recommendation, I guess. I'll read the draft resolution here. It's Town of Victor Planning Board Resolution recommending Norbut Solar Farm, NSF Victor 1, decommissioning plan to the town board. Whereas on or about May 5th, 2025, Town of Victor Planning Board, the Planning Board, received site plan and special use permit application from Norbut Solar Farms, NSF Victor Site 1 LLC and Fisher's Hollow LLC, together the applicant, for a 4.43 megawatt AC solar photovoltaic system, the project, on a plus or minus 34.9 acre parcel located on the north side of Main Street, Fishers, tax map parcel 5.00170.000, the property, within the town of Victor's residential 2 and Route 96 251 overlay zoning districts, and whereas Section 21164E1 of the Victor Town Code requires that decommissioning plans for large-scale photovoltaic systems be reviewed and approved by the Victor Town Board after receiving a written recommendation from the Planning Board. And whereas the Planning Board has reviewed the decommissioning plan prepared by Paul Congdon, P.E., last revised July 22nd, 2025, the decommissioning plan, and finds that the decommissioning plan and the applicant appear to have addressed or will address, where appropriate, the 12 conditions specified in Section 21164F of the Victor Town Code. Now therefore be it resolved that the Planning Board hereby recommends that the decommissioning plan be referred to the Victor Town Board for their review and subsequent action, and the Planning Board authorizes town staff to memorialize this Planning Board recommendation in a memo to the Town Board, subject to the town engineer and town attorney confirming the amount in the detailed cost estimate and form of surety. So that is the resolution. Did I get everything, Wes?
One amendment there, at least. I failed to mention that the project is also within the town's large-scale solar system overlay district.
Thank you.
One question I do want to ask Mr. Logan and Mr. Petty, do we need to do seeker determination before this action is taken, or is this just more of a referral?
I don't feel like we need to have a secret determination for this because it's simply a recommendation. It's not,
An action.
yeah, it's not a type of approval.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's not a final action, so the recommendation can be made before seeker is determined.
Thank you, Frank. Bobby is town attorney. And our next, well, let's vote on this first. So here, motion for this recommendation.
Move.
Joe moves. Al seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 4-0. That's item 1. We have a couple of other things. Determining lead agency is the next item, I believe. Wes, if you want to, I guess, review that quickly?
Yeah, so I've drafted a resolution for planning board's consideration that kind of follows the sequence of where we've been in the seeker process since an application was first submitted back in February 2024. At that point, early in 2024, the planning board initiated the lead agency coordination process and sent out lead agency coordination letters and packages, along with a full environmental assessment form part 1 to involved and interested agencies. None of the agencies responded back that they opposed to the Victor Planning Board being the lead agency for review of this project. So this resolution in front of you kind of memorializes that the planning board is assuming and accepts lead agency status for the review of the project.
In order for us to continue with seeker, we need to make sure that we've confirmed, right, that we're,
Yeah, I guess
Planning
if,
board
right, so part of the plan tonight was to go through part 2 of the EAF, right? And the lead agency is responsible for filling out part 2 of the EAF. So it might make sense to pass this resolution. I'll maybe ask the
Right.
town attorney on the fly here, does it make sense for us for the planning board to consider this resolution before going through part 2 of the EAF?
Well, I think the resolution just confirms your taking on the role of lead agency pursuant to seeker, and that no objections were filed by any involved agencies to that status. Upon adoption of that resolution, it's up to the planning board members as to whether it wants to proceed in completing part 2 of the EAF and moving forward with that determination of its environmental significance tonight, or at some other time.
so, short answer, yes. And we'll take it one element at a time here. So with that, we'll do the seeker lead agency resolution. Kind of a formality, but we're still going to do this. So whereas on or about February 20th, 2024, the Town of Victor Planning Board or Planning Board received applications for special use permit for site plan approval pursuant to former Chapter 103 Energy Systems of the Victor Town Code, submitted by Norbit Solar Farms, NSF's Victor Site 1 LLC, and Fisher's Hollow LLC, together the applicant, for a 4.43 megawatt AC solar photovoltaic system, the project on a 34.9 acre parcel located on the north side of Main Street, Fishers. Tax map parcel 5.00170.000, defined as the property within the Town of Victor's Residential 2 and Route 96 251 overlay zoning districts, and whereas the State Environmental Quality Review Act, ECL Article 8 and its implementing regulations at 6 NYCRR Part 617, collectively Seeker A, require that no agency shall carry out, fund, or approve an action until it has complied with the requirements of Seeker A. And the Planning Board, having reviewed the application at the March 12th, 2024 Planning Board meeting preliminarily and found that the project to be a Type 1 action, and adopted a resolution declaring the Planning Board's intent to be seeker lead agency. And whereas on or about March 12, 2024, following adoption of the lead agency coordination resolution, and as directed by the Planning Board, town staff sent notices of the Planning Board's commencement of a coordinated review of the project and its intent to be lead agency for the project to all potentially involved and interested agencies, including the Town of Victor Planning Board, New York State Environmental Research and Development Authority, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Region 8, New York State Department of Health, New York State Thruway Authority, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Ontario County IDA, Ontario County Planning Board, Ontario County Department of Public Works, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Town of Mendon. Whereas the Ontario County Industrial Development Agency, all the agencies really issued their concurrence with the Planning Board serving as lead agency for the project. No objections were received. Abbreviating a little bit here for the sake of everyone. Whereas on February 10th, 2025, the town board adopted local law 2025 large-scale solar code updates and amend Chapter 211 zoning, repealed Chapter 103 energy systems, and affirm the edge of temporary land use moratorium within the town of Victor, a new solar law. So that's why we're here. And whereas about May 5th, 2025, the planning board received revised site plan and special use permit applications. In response to the town's adoption of this new solar law, whereas the planning board caused town staff to prepare and distribute a seeker lead agency courtesy memorandum to notify involved and interested agencies that the planning board had received a revised application, and town staff transmitted a memorandum dated June 17th, 2025, along with the revised FEAF and site layout graphic depicting the general layout changes from the 2024 submission. And whereas the planning board has determined that it is the appropriate agency to serve as lead agency to conduct the environmental review of the project pursuant to Seeker A. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the planning board hereby assumes and accepts the lead agency role for the environmental review of the project pursuant to Seeker A. So with all of that background in whereases, this is where we are. I'll entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll move it.
Scott moves.
Second?
Joe seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Part two. Wes, I know you've prepared the seeker, the review, part two, correct?
Yeah.
At least in part. Would the board, is it the board's pleasure to go ahead and start reviewing that?
I think so.
Okay. So let's do that. Wes,
Okay.
the mic is yours for the moment.
Yeah. Feel free to sit down. It might take a little
Yeah,
bit, but we
please.
might have questions. We might have you come up, right? So just for the public's benefit, the part two of the EAF, there are 18 questions in here with sub-questions, and what I've done is drafted for your consideration tentative answers to some of these questions. And certainly, this is not my document. This is the planning board's part two of the EAF. So I'd look for you to, confirm that these answers are okay or satisfactory, or if you want to change them, we can change them. And I've used the DEC's online EAF workbook to assist with preparing this, and also referenced part one of the applicant's EAF. So with that, number one, impact on land. The proposed action, the construction of the solar project and all the ancillary components of the project, may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. And the answer to that is yes. We know there is going to be an alteration to the site, to the land surface. So some of these answers and the sub-questions A through G, some of them might be no impact, or some of them might be small impact, but together the form doesn't recognize a difference between no or small impact. But a reasoned elaboration can help identify and clarify some of that information. So letter A, the proposed action may involve construction on land where the depth to the water table is less than 3 feet. So in referencing part one of the EAF, E2D, there's no or small impact in that regard. B, the proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater. There aren't many slopes on the project's parcel itself that are greater than 15%. The applicant did provide, if you remember, within the last month, a graphic that showed the difference in slopes. So, and there's really no construction, or if there is, there's a very small impact that would occur in that regard. C, the proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 feet of existing ground surface. I didn't find any instances of that scenario on the project site, so we've got no impact there. D, the proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material. The applicant won't be removing or excavating 1,000 tons or more of natural material, so the answer to that is no. The proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases. It's not anticipated to take longer than a year, so we've got no or small impact in that regard. F, the proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal, including from treatment by herbicides. we've got small impact there, and there are erosion sediment control measures incorporated into the plans to help be sure that that's not going to be a major issue. G, the proposed action is or may be located within a coastal erosion hazard area. There's no impact in that regard. Question number 2, impact on geological features. The proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. The answer to that is no. So we can go on to question 3. The impacts on surface water. The proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies. The answer to that is yes. And the sub-questions here, the proposed action may create a new water body. So they're creating a stormwater management area, but it's really the characteristics of that and the stormwater calculations, there's really a small impact as a result of the construction of the stormwater management area. The proposed action may result in an increase or decrease in over 10% or more than a 10-acre increase or decrease in the surface area of any water body. There's no impact in that regard. We don't have that scenario. C, the proposed action may involve dredging more than 100 cubic yards of material from a wetland or water body. The answer to that is no impact. We don't have that scenario. D, the proposed action may involve construction within or adjoining a freshwater or tidal wetland or in a bed or banks of any other water body. We have no impacts in that regard. And I do want to mention here that the applicant has coordinated with New York State DEC. They did a parcel jurisdiction determination with DEC, and I believe the DEC came back, and we have documentation of that indicating that they're not taking jurisdiction of any of the wetlands on site. E, the proposed action may create turbidity in a water body either from upland erosion, runoff, or by disturbing bottom sediments. There's going to be no impact in that regard. F, the proposed action may include construction of one or more intakes for withdrawal of water from surface water. No impact. We don't have that scenario. G, the proposed action may include construction of one or more outfalls for discharge of wastewater to surface waters. No impact in that regard. We won't have that scenario. The proposed action may cause soil erosion or otherwise create a source of stormwater discharge that may lead to siltation or other degradation of receiving water body. We have no impact or small impact in that regard. The proposed action may affect the water quality of any water bodies within or downstream of the site of the proposed action. We have a small impact in that regard. While there may be some stormwater discharges, we don't anticipate that they're going to be large impacts or significant impacts based on the information that's been submitted in the SWIP and the engineering report. J, the proposed action may involve the application of pesticides or herbicides in or around any water body. They are not going to be using pesticides or herbicides, so there is no impact in that regard. K, the proposed action may require the construction of new or expansion of existing wastewater treatment facilities. No impact. It's not really relevant to this particular project. Number 4, impact on groundwater. And interrupt me at any time. I'm kind of cruising through some of these, but feel free to interrupt me. Impact on groundwater. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. The project does not have any impacts on groundwater. There's not going to be using groundwater. There's not going to be the potential to introduce contaminants, so there's no impact in that regard. Number 5, impact on flooding. The proposed action may result in development on lands subject to flooding. So there's no impact, and we've said no here because the portion of the area that's going to be constructed on is outside of any lands that are subject to flooding.
Is flooding defined by that determined by FEMA? Flood insurance study?
Yeah, I believe so, the FEMA maps. And it can also bring up some of the DEC guidance if that's helpful.
One thing I do want to point out, there is the very bottom, probably within the first 20 feet of our access drive, there is a 100-year floodplain that clips the bottom portion of our property. Whether that counts as seeker as development on the land, there's already an existing driveway curb cut there, but we are going to rebuild that driveway and bring it up to standard, so.
Yeah. So that's, I think that's a good point. It's not something that we've necessarily overlooked in this regard. If you want to acknowledge that as a planning board, that yes, there is a floodplain, it's over a portion of the entrance drive at the intersection with,
The residents have mentioned that the water does run down that driveway.
Yep.
And there was a concern expressed that, the upgrades to the driveway would facilitate water coming down there. So I think maybe that should be a small impact.
so we can say yes.
I think
Mr.
so.
Limbeck, the driveway that the residents have been talking about is this driveway over here that's not associated with our access drive. The floodplain portion I'm talking about is like right at our
Actually, I
entrance.
thought the driveway on the property, I think, was where they mentioned the water comes running down the hill.
Oh, I thought that was the gray residents that were talking about the water running down their driveway, not down ours.
No, I
they were talking about it.
could be mistaken, but I thought it was the driveway on the Norbit property.
So we could say technically yes, and no or small impact to every one of these squares.
I agree.
Yep.
And if you put yes down, at least you're acknowledging, as James brought up, that there is a very small portion of the 100-year flood
Yep.
way that, or flood zone, I guess. Not sure if it's in a floodway or not, but,
It's not a floodway. It's
Yeah.
just the 100-year floodplain special
Yeah.
hazard zone.
right. So, Wes, I think that would be prudent to put yes and then just say no or small effect. I think we all kind of agree that there's limited, if any, impact, but,
Okay.
you know.
That's fine. And I think for subparagraph G, under number 5, impact on flooding, we could also describe the specific detail or occurrence that is anticipated here, just so that we understand that
Yeah.
it's covered. So we can do that. Okay.
I mean, a lot of these are, much bigger floodplains and definitions of larger scale elements of a floodplain or floodway. So I think G is appropriate, Wes, what you just proposed, so.
Okay.
All right.
Number 6, impacts on air. The proposed action may include a state-regulated air emissions source. The answer to this is yes, primarily due to construction equipment that would be at the site. So, subparagraph or subquestion A, if the proposed action requires federal or state air emission permits, the action may also emit one or more greenhouse gases at or above the following levels. So for each one of these sub-questions, I've indicated no or small impact. There doesn't seem to be any indication that the construction vehicles at the site would cause any of these thresholds to be crossed.
Those are all temporary also. It's a construction issue, correct?
Yes,
So
correct.
these numbers here are pretty substantial. And then the window of construction, very small amounts of these greenhouse gases would be emitted
Yep.
over a period of time, and I don't think they would even accumulate to these, but I'm not the emissions expert on this,
Okay.
so. Yeah,
The same for item B. The proposed action may generate 10 tons per year or more of any one designated hazardous air pollutants, or 25 tons per year or more of any combination of such hazardous air pollutants. I think to your point, given that this is temporary in nature, we don't see any of these thresholds being crossed. C, the proposed action may require a state air registration or may produce an emissions rate of total contaminants that may exceed 5 pounds per hour or may include a heat source capable of producing more than 10 million BTUs per hour. Again, that's a no to small impact. D, the proposed action may reach 50% of any of the thresholds in A through C above. No or small impact in that regard. And E, the proposed action may result in the combustion or thermal treatment of more than 1 ton of refuse per hour. So we don't have that scenario here, so that's no impact. Number 7, impacts on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. The answer to that is yes. The applicant has acknowledged that in part 1 of their EAF. Subquestion A, the proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any threatened or endangered species as listed by New York State or the federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site. So we have no impact in that regard. I don't think we have any of those conditions here. The proposed action may result in a reduction or degradation of any habitat used by rare, threatened, or endangered species as listed by New York State or the federal government. Again, no impact. C, the proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any species of special concern or conservation need as listed by New York State or federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site. Got no impact. D, the proposed action may result in a reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any species of special concern and conservation need as listed by New York State or the federal government. No impact in that regard. E, the proposed action may diminish the capacity of a registered national natural landmark to support the biological community it was established to protect. No impact. That condition does not exist at this site. F, the proposed action may result in the removal of or ground disturbance of any portion of a designated significant natural community. No impact in that regard. G, the proposed action may substantially interfere with nesting, breeding, foraging, or overwintering habitat for the predominant species that occupy or use the project site. There may be some impact there. I feel it's going to be small.
You're referring to the deer that we heard about? Okay.
Yep. H, the proposed action requires the conversion of more than 10 acres of forest, grassland, and any other regionally or locally important habitat. I don't think we have a designated, identified regionally or locally important habitat at this particular location. So I've got small impact there. I, the proposed action for commercial and industrial projects or recreational projects only involve the use of herbicides or pesticides. No impact in that regard. Any questions on this one? Okay. 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources. I've got indicated, yes, there is going to be an impact to agricultural resources, mainly the soils, the existing soils that are on site are conducive to agriculture. And that's identified in subquestion A. The proposed action may impact soil classified within soil groups 1 through 4 of the New York State Land Classification System. So I've got small impact there. It should also be noted that the project site is not in an agricultural district.
It's not currently farmed either, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. B, the proposed action may sever, cross, or otherwise limit access to agricultural land. Got no impact there. C, the proposed action may result in the excavation or compaction of the soil profile of active agricultural land. So we've got no or small impact there since it's not actively being used for agriculture. I'd say it's a small impact. E, the proposed action may irreversibly convert agricultural land to non-agricultural uses, either more than 2.5 acres if located in an ag district or more than 10 acres if not within an ag district. So I've got indicated a small impact in that regard. It's not in an agricultural district. It's debatable whether or not the applicant or the action is irreversibly converting agricultural land to an agricultural use. There are provisions. There is a decommissioning plan as part of the project that would restore the property to the condition it is today. E, the proposed action may disrupt or prevent installation of an agricultural land management system. Got no impact there. F, the proposed action may result directly or indirectly in increased development potential or pressure on farmland. No impact there. G, the proposed action is not consistent with the adopted municipal farmland protection plan. Small impact. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. And the answer to that is yes. And let me pull up part 1 of the EAF, part E1A. 1A, B, and H. Oh, E3H, E3H. So on part one of the EAF, it's identified, the question is the project site within 5 miles of any officially designated and publicly accessible federal, state, or local scenic or aesthetic resource? And identify those resources. So we have checked yes, or the applicant has checked yes. The resources include Mendon Ponds Park, Ganondagan State Historic Park, Fishers Park, Powder Mills Park, the Auburn Trail, nature of or basis for designation. We've got local parks, state historic site, local park, and local rail trail. And the distance between the project and these resources are 3.5 miles, 4.9 miles, 0.6 miles, 1.3, and 0.4 of a mile. So that's why we've got checked yes here. So the sub-question is proposed action may be visible from any officially designated federal, state, or local scenic or aesthetic resource. No or small impact. The proposed action may result in the obstruction. And I guess I should say there was a visualization study provided by the applicant that showed where the project would be visible from. B, the proposed action may result in the obstruction, elimination, or significant screening of one or more officially designated scenic views. No impact. C, the proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points, either seasonally, screened by summer foliage, but visible during other seasons, or year-round. Both of those I have no or small impact. D, the situation or activity in which viewers are engaged while viewing the proposed action is routine travel by residents, including travel to and from work or recreation or tourism-based activities. I've got no or small impact. E, the proposed action may cause a diminishment of public enjoyment and appreciation of the designated aesthetic resource. No or small impact. F, there are similar projects visible within the following distance of the proposed project, anywhere from 0.5 mile to 5+ miles. I've got no or small impact. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. E3, E, F, and G. Okay. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. The answer to that is yes. Part 1 of the EAF, the question is is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory? Question A, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to any buildings, archaeological site, or district which is listed on or has been nominated by the New York State Board of Historic Preservation for inclusion in the National Register. Got no impact in that regard. B, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory. I've got small impact in that regard. There is a letter from, that's in the engineer's report indicating, it's from SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. It's a no impact letter indicating that the project would have no impacts. C, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an archaeological site not included on the New York State Historic Preservation Office inventory. Got no impact. Other impacts, none. E, if any of the above, A through D, are answered as yes, continue with the following questions to help to support conclusions in Part 3. Well, A through C, I guess none of them are marked yes, other than there's a check mark for no or small impact. So each of the sub-questions in E, I've got no or small impact. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or a reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. The answer to that is no. Number 12, impacts on critical environmental areas. The proposed action may be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area. I should specify as defined by New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and the answer to that is no. There are no critical environmental areas as defined by DEC in the town of Victor. Number 13, impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. The answer to that is no. Traffic may be impacted during construction with construction vehicles, but that would all be accommodated through the existing road network, so no impact. Number 14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. The answer to that is no.
So
15.
I got a question about A. So RG&E is going to be accepting the product from this site. And is there a substation on the corner or down around Main Street Fishers and Fishers Road that might need some work to handle the increase in power? I'm trying to picture
Yeah.
where that little substation is, and I thought it was right down close to that intersection there.
Well,
I'm unaware of any improvements that would be required at the substation.
and this is sort of contrary to, I think, the item that's there. I mean, they're generating electricity, they're not using electricity.
But doesn't it need some sort of vehicle to actually add it to the system?
Well, they're providing transformers, as they've said multiple times, there's near the bottom of the
The
driveway.
transformers, in effect, are the substation.
I'm not going to speak for James, but if you can
Yeah,
answer that
so
quick.
the series of the 6 poles that have the equipment as it ties into the existing infrastructure grid, there's 3 poles that are going to be owned by Norbert. The last 3 poles are owned by RG&E, the utility. They may have some other, upgrades at various locations, replacing equipment or doing things to allow it to interconnect. But we're not talking a new substation or massive improvements. It would be stuff that would be done on existing poles or at the existing substation that you wouldn't.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. And Mr. Logan's correct. We're generating energy. We're not using
Sure.
any for this.
It says increase in the use of any form of energy, so to me, they're providing the ability to increase, but they're not increasing the use of.
Sure.
That's
No.
how I interpret that.
I'm okay with a no.
Yeah, okay.
Number 15, we're almost there. Almost there. Impact on noise, odor, and light. The proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. Yes. There will be an increase in noise during construction. We don't anticipate odors from the project. We don't anticipate lighting from the project. And the proposed action, so question A, the proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation. Answer to that is no. B, the proposed action may result in blasting within 1,500 feet of any residence, hospital, school, licensed daycare center, or nursing home. The answer to that is no, there's not going to be any blasting. C, the proposed action may result in routine odors for more than 1 hour per day. Answer to that is no. D, the proposed action may result in light shining onto adjoining properties. A small impact in that regard when we're considering glare. E, the proposed action may result in lighting, creating sky glow brighter than existing area conditions. No impact in that regard.
So the small impact on D, we would also want to note there is mitigating elements of the project for that?
Yeah, so I think in what we would identify in the reasoned elaboration is that, the project is designed with solar panels that have an anti-reflective coating, number one, and the applicant has also submitted a glare analysis and that identifies certain times of the day, certain hours within the day, and certain days within the year, the calendar year, when this glare may impact an adjoining property. And there's also some screening that's been proposed. There's existing vegetation today that helps shield that any potential glare. And we also looked at the level of glare as compared to other materials, the sun reflecting off of other materials, including steel, including glass, including snow, and water. And we might remember that graphic showed that the solar panels with the anti-reflective coating had about 2% of the light that would be reflected off of them, which was lower than any of the other materials that were on that chart. So that's all part of the reasoned elaboration for your answers. Also, noise, we recall that the applicant submitted a sound study with regard to the equipment that would be installed on the site for the solar project, which identified that really the ambient sound levels that are present today, the sound produced by the inverters is not going to cause an increase in that ambient sound level.
Is there are there any lights that are going to be on this property at night, for maintenance or anything else, or is it just only if you have maintenance vehicles that have to go up there at night? So there's no, the residents in the area won't even know it's there. It'll be dark all night, basically, is the question.
That's correct. There's no lighting proposed as part of the facility itself.
Okay.
The only lighting, as you mentioned, would be if there was some vehicle that had to do maintenance at night, but that would be very unusual to
Okay,
be
so-
doing maintenance at night.
So from a light perspective, it's very benign. There's nothing there. So, thank you. All right, thanks, Wes.
Great. Question 16, impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. The answer to that is no. Number 17, consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans. The answer to that is no. The project is consistent with the town's local zoning regulations, including the large-scale solar overlay zoning district. Number 18, consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character. I've got checked that, yes, the project is a bit inconsistent. Subquestion A, the proposed action may replace or eliminate existing facilities, structures, or areas of historic importance to the community. We've got no impact in that regard. B, the proposed action may create a demand for additional community services, example, schools, police, and fire. I'd say a small impact in that regard. In the event there needs to be emergency service at the facility, they're kind of creating that need. C, the proposed action may displace affordable or low-income housing in an area where there is a shortage of such housing. No impact in that regard. D, the proposed action may interfere with the use or enjoyment of officially recognized or designated public resources. No impact in that regard. E, the proposed action is inconsistent with the predominant architectural scale and character. So this is the first project of its kind in the town, and I'm not aware, I don't know of any other solar projects that are in the immediate vicinity, so it's a little bit different. Probably a small impact, given its visibility in the neighborhood.
There are one or two facilities that have an array of solar panels, and Omnitech comes to mind, the shop right in the middle of it.
Mhm.
It's not nearly the scale, but I guess that's the closest personally I could relate to something like this
Yeah,
in the town, so. Small.
okay. F, the proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape. Well, it's a physical change to the project environment, so, to me, I was considering that it's a small impact, but I certainly defer to you if you feel otherwise, and we can look at the EAF workbook if you'd like. And that's the last question. Any edits? Any other?
I think it was well prepared.
All right, all right.
Scott? Okay.
So with that, we did talk about making some modifications to the EAF and providing some specific detail on the impacts to flooding. What I might suggest, I know the applicant may not be pleased at this point, but what I might suggest is that we have that document prepared for your consideration in advance of the next meeting so that you can take action at the
I
next meeting.
think that's appropriate. Guys? Pat?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
I
So, like you
wanted to
said-
ask Frank if he's got any comments as
Yeah, sure.
we're at this
Of course.
point right now.
Well, as I listened you go through that, I didn't hear a moderate to large impact being identified. So at this point, the town board seems to be prepared to issue a negative declaration based upon that analysis. So I guess my question is whether you're prepared to take a vote to authorize Wes and myself to prepare a negative declaration resolution and complete Part 3 with those modifications now, or would you rather wait till the next meeting?
You're right, there was nothing that really jumped out at us. And I don't see a reason to hold up the ability for town to take that action. But with that, and I guess, Frank, I'm asking, are you suggesting we make a resolution to that effect?
Well, I think you could certainly take a vote that authorizes us to prepare a negative declaration and complete the Part 3 of the AF, make the modifications as noted by Wes, and prepare a negative declaration resolution that the board would adopt at its next meeting.
That would be the town board you're talking, or is
No, planning.
planning board?
Planning board.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was confusing the two with what you said
No,
earlier.
at this point, the town board would just vote to approve the decommissioning. plan.
Decommissioning plan, yeah. James, did you have a question?
I mean, our request would be to do that. We would like to obviously allow the town board to take an action on the decommissioning, potentially prior to the next meeting. However, we understand kind of the process that you guys are discussing here. So if that's the way the town wants to proceed, we're okay with that. But obviously, being that this is now, I think, our 6th or 7th meeting, and based on, the town attorney's comments, there really isn't anything else, it seems,
Yeah.
to issue a positive declaration for any reason, so.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, James. I mean, are you asking, again, whether issuing the negative declaration at the next meeting would prevent, or adopting the negative declaration resolution at the next meeting would prevent the town board to proceed on the decommissioning plan?
Correct, yeah. Would that hold us up because the town board meeting's the Monday prior to the next planning board meeting, I believe?
The next planning board meeting is,
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, James. I'm not sure the town board is going to be prepared to adopt a resolution approving a decommissioning plan at its next meeting.
That's fair as well, so.
I mean, I think that it still needs to hear from Labella on the calculations for the surety bond and more information on the nature of the surety that you guys intend to, or your client intends to post for the decommissioning plan. So, and quite honestly, September 8th, the board has a chock-full agenda. So I think probably it would be best to, if the planning board is prepared to vote to authorize that resolution be prepared, to have it prepared for your next planning board meeting, which unfortunately I think is not until September
it's in a month,
23rd.
yeah. It's
23rd, and
4 weeks
then
away.
at the following town board meeting, it can then take up a resolution to approve the decommissioning plan.
That would be putting us into October, and then we'd be back in front of you guys for site plan after that, before we could get started with anything.
The town
So it'd
board
be in
has
November.
2 meetings in September. He's saying the 8th, and then
What is
they
the
have another
fourth
one.
Tuesday, what is the fourth Monday in September?
22nd.
22nd.
Our next meeting in that month is the 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
So you're right, James, that would be then October 13th would be the date that the town board would take up a resolution to approve the decommissioning.
Correct,
plan.
and then we'd be October 14th back in front of you guys for site plan approval, so effectively 2 months out from today.
I mean, even if we had a meeting at the beginning of September, the first week that we're now not able to have, I think timing still goes with the town board, I believe, correct?
I mean, if you have, if you're going to, if this planning board is prepared to adopt a resolution issuing a negative declaration, you can do so subject to the written resolution being prepared and approved by Wes and myself. And then you have a record of it being adopted tonight. It's not clean, but it's something you can do.
I don't see an objection from any of the board members regarding what we just went through, and this, as long as we get some definition to a few of the questions that we had, right, Wes? So I think we'd be prepared to adopt it at our next meeting, and I'll call that a straw poll more than a vote. If we need something more formal for the town board to take action, that's, I don't have anything prepared to say that that's the case.
I think unfortunately, Joe, it's just going to be, if you want to take a straw vote tonight on the neg deck and authorize the resolution, it's just going to have to happen formally at the next planning board meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean-
that's acceptable. We understand
You don't,
the
James,
process here. We understand that we have to go back and forth a little bit, so
Correct.
it is what it is.
yeah,
you want it to be clean.
Correct.
And of course, it's a type 1 neg deck. It's got to be posted in the ENB. It's got to be circulated to the involved agencies. Unfortunately, this is just the way it's going to have to be done in order to comply with strictly with the procedures of seeker.
Yep, we totally understand that, so we're acceptable to that.
I think you're saying
We appreciate
positive
you guys
response from the
considering
balance
it
of
and
the-
trying to work with us
Yeah.
on potential schedule here, so.
So you're getting a positive response, I believe, towards moving this forward.
Correct, yep.
So I think that's what we would be most prudent, is to be prepared to vote on it at the next board meeting, which is
Okay.
a month from now.
Okay.
So,
James, you'll at least potentially have informal input for the town board on the decommissioning plan.
Correct. Yeah, and I know Labella's already reviewed it and provided comments. Obviously, if there's anything additional, we'll provide updated materials with responses to that as well, so.
Sure. Okay, and then we'll be prepared to jump right into site plan approval and all that.
Perfect.
So, yeah. So I think we're done with this discussion for the evening.
Awesome.
I think we got quite a bit done.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate your time, so thank you guys all very much. If anything else
Good.
comes up,
Okay.
please reach out.
Thank you, James. Okay. 3 more. First one's Chick-fil-A. Applicants requesting approval to construct 5,331 square foot quick-serve restaurant with a double-lane drive-through, outdoor patio. Projects proposed on 1.96 acre portion of land on the Eastview Mall parcel at the southeast corner. This is still an open public meeting. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name's Charlie Gottlieb. I'm the Land Use Counsel for Chick-fil-A from Whiteman, Osterman, and Hanna in Albany, New York. Here this evening with Randy Bebout from Bowler Engineering, our project engineer. And Eric Wright is behind me as well, who's representing the property owner, Eastview Mall LLC. The project is a 5,397 square foot quick service Chick-fil-A restaurant with a dual lane drive-through that is dual lane throughout. And it's located on the southeast corner of the Eastview Mall property. We were previously before this board on July 22nd, where we showed an alternative layout that pulled the building as far out as possible from that no-build area that is a restrictive covenant on the property. We did receive the planning board's informal consent on the alternative location, and we were told to come back with the no-build covenant itself for review and approval. Since then, we have also received a building determination from the code enforcement officer detailing out what area variances and sign variances are required for the project. We do plan, if I have my way, submitting to the ZBA tomorrow, but definitely this week to further the ZBA's review. We also submitted from Bowler Engineering to further this board's site plan review a response to comment letter to comments we have received thus far, a revised environmental assessment form, lighting specifications, a revised engineering report, stormwater pollution prevention plan, a geotech report, sign survey, building elevations, and a revised site plan set based on this new alternative design. You also recently received from my office a submission that did include what we're going to call the second amended restrictive covenant, which is setting forth what the new no-build area will be after the project is developed, as well as another revised environmental assessment form, this time indicating that the Zoning Board of Appeals is an involved agency because we need those variances, and also indicating in the description that we are seeking an amendment to the no-build restrictive covenant. The next steps We believe that this planning board should serve as the secret lead agency for this under a coordinated review with the zoning board of appeals, meaning that no action on this project can be taken until this board issues what we hope to be a negative declaration. Tonight, we would like the board to declare that intent, and we also would like your informal straw poll vote on the second amended restrictive covenant that is before you. We will continue with the planning board until you are comfortable in making a secret determination. Simultaneously, we will also be going with the ZBA, but the ZBA cannot determine anything until a negative declaration is issued. Once we get the variances from the ZBA, we then come back to this board to finalize your site plan review. So with that said, I know you have a restrictive covenant amendment in front of you. It has been reviewed by Chick-fil-A, by the property owner. It's been revised based on comments that we received from the planning board attorney as well as the planning board engineer. So if there's any questions, we're here to answer them.
And the town attorney and the.
Yeah, so just to follow up on council's comments, our office did work with the applicant's counsel in preparing and finalizing what's before you as the second amended declaration of restricted covenant. And we are in agreement with its form and terms and conditions. It does have the exhibits attached thereto, which include the old meets and bounds description and the map of the new hatched area, as well as a meets description of the hatched area that is being modified. So in terms of its form and content, we are satisfied. It's now up to the planning board as to the content, the substantive nature of the modifying the restrictive area.
Thank you, Frank. So, first things first. Yeah, I'm sorry? Public hearing is still open, right? In order to get through seeker, we do need to determine or declare we're lead agency. It sounds like that would be the next step. Wes, would you agree with that?
Let's have a conversation here
Yeah.
about this. So my understanding, so this is an unlisted action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not a requirement to do a lead agency coordination. And I guess it doesn't hurt, though, to somehow signify that the planning board is interested in being the lead agency for seeker purposes. Frank, does that need to be in the form of a resolution? Or
Yeah,
can
I
they
think-
just do a motion?
I think, well, let's back up even further. It's my understanding that the public hearing is still open on this application.
Correct.
Is it the board's intention to keep that open or to close it out tonight?
Well, I think this is probably the first full meeting we've had with all of the information that's been set before us in terms of the modified location. We did talk about it at the last meeting, and got kind of a straw vote as to, yeah, this would be, I'll call it a straw poll, that this plan would be acceptable in concept to the balance of the board, if not everyone, unless I hear an objection otherwise. So I guess I'm a little bit of a loss to get the right steps. Sorry, Joe.
Just thinking.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Well, I mean, Joe, everything we've done up to this point has just
Right.
been preliminary and
Correct.
formal,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, we really haven't kicked off any
Formal-
formality in this process.
yes.
So I think we need to, whatever the right,
I guess I'm
Sequences.
confusing or conflating a number of discussions we've had about a whole host of elements on this project. We got it to the point where it's about the least impact we would expect or anticipate on that no-build area. And we've gotten now some agreement that, on the definition of and description of the no-build area, that we could work with, and which retains the most of the best amount of landscaping possible. And there's some tweaks on the site plan review ultimately that we need to do once we've gotten that far. So, I guess a resolution on that we intend to be lead agency makes sense to me. Yeah,
So then, just understand, it's your desire to keep the public hearing open?
yes. 'Cause
Okay,
we still have review of the site plan.
okay.
Oh,
So then the next step would be for the board to adopt a resolution declaring its intent to act as lead agency.
right.
You can do that tonight.
Mhm.
We'll have a letter submitted to the ZBA declaring its intent. I highly, highly doubt the ZBA will object to you acting as lead agency under seeker. And then, again, the other item is a straw poll vote, informal vote of the second amended declaration of restricted covenant tonight.
Okay, well, first things first, let's talk about the declaring lead agency, and I guess all we need to do is come up with the language to do that. If I gave it a generic or a kind of a general, let's vote on being lead agency and how create the details of that.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. So, I guess we'll put forward that a resolution that states that the planning board is declaring its intent to be lead agency for the review of the Chick-fil-A application, and that the appropriate, we're authorizing the town staff to put the appropriate correspondence together to involved and interested agencies to comment on that declaration, and there's a time period, was it 30 days to get response?
Yep, 30 days from the date
That the-
transmittal
is sent.
Unless that you receive responses shorter than the 30-day
Right.
period,
Yeah, if everyone says tomorrow that, nope, we don't care, you're good.
which will likely occur. You'll probably get your response from the ZBA within a week.
All right, so with that generic motion outline, I guess I'll call it, I'll ask for a vote on that resolution.
I'll move.
I'll move the.
I'll moves,
I'll second.
resolution.
and Scott seconds the proposed resolution to declare the town planning board as lead agency. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried 4-0. All right, it's official. Ending mailings. Yeah, and you've got certainly some boilerplate to put together for that. All right. Regarding the definition, I guess, of the change in covenant to the site. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding that? I think we decided that it would be based on the site plan as currently being proposed and that has been transmitted to the board, roughly going with that plan that's shown up on the screen and the detail of which we've all received in the last week from Lisa through, from the client through Lisa. So
And this would be the straw poll.
this would be a straw poll, I'll call it that. We don't typically vote on opinions, so, at least for this type of thing. So, I guess I'll go down the board. Joe, are you
I'm in favor.
satisfied with the plan and the approach?
I am in favor.
Al,
I am as well.
as am I. Scott?
Yep.
Okay. So, just the record shows that the 4 current board members agree that this is the right definition of the revised covenant to the Eastview Mall property to accommodate the Chick-fil-A as having been proposed in the last version or the latest version of your site plan. I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry.
The end of the summer.
Yeah, we'll take it as that. That's as good as any. So, having said that, is there anything else that you needed from us this evening regarding your site plan?
I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we are prepared to make sure we give everything the planning board requests. So I listened to the last application, so I know there's a later September meeting. I think it was September 23rd.
Correct.
We would like to be in a position where we're responsive to all the comments, so that you could likewise go through, luckily, the short part 2 of the EAF at your September 23rd meeting. So anything we can do to facilitate that, please let us know, response to comments, dates of submissions, and so forth.
Okay,
So our 30 days for if we do lead agency will not be till September 25th.
that's the,
26th.
But I think as,
Yeah,
Well, unless-
Frank's point is that we'll hear back from the ZBA within probably 10 days.
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Was there anyone else we would hear, that we'd need to hear from, or is it just the ZBA?
I think the only other potentially involved agency is the ZBA. I'm not
Okay.
aware of any others.
All right, so no other public agencies would be interested or involved in this?
Right.
Okay. Well, then, it'll be whatever Frank said, we get the response from the ZBA, which could be less than 2 weeks.
okay.
All right. Having said that, or is there anyone else have any comments on the board regarding this application, questions, things that they've thought of since the last meeting for the applicant that they might be able to address in the next 4 weeks?
No?
Scott?
Oh, I'm good.
I had one minor thing, and that's more site plan related, but two things. The grading that you're showing around the perimeter behind the wall has, seems to go back pretty far on the site beyond the, I'll call it the no disturbance or no build area that's being modified. Is there a way to reduce that amount to save more trees? Just keep that in mind as we
Yeah.
go through that discussion. You know, the wall might need to be higher, but it seems pretty steep. I want to make sure it's mowable, maintainable, and can retain as many of those mature trees as possible. And the other comment I had was, it's kind of an odd traffic pattern coming out of the Chick-fil-A. Once people have picked up their food on the drive-through, there's a lane that aims right at one of those lanes coming out. So, right there. Now, Susie, do you have any more zoomed-in site plans? Okay, yep. I'd like you to look at the traffic pattern in the site coming out. You've got people coming in the entrance that's basically the out entrance from the drive-through. And so if you look at those two arrows going toward the drive-through, that seems a hazard, because you're telling people to come out and then take a right out to go to the central exit entrance of the mall. And there's cars coming in at that location. And I would almost say that should only be a double exit out. This thing right there, yep. I think honestly that this, you shouldn't even have a left turn lane coming from this direction into here, because you're telling people to go to drive through down there or coming into the site. They could easily come in and park, or come in and go through and eliminate this counter traffic pattern.
Yeah, we'll review that.
Yeah, okay. And I know you made a revision for there was originally the dumpster in a slightly different place and the exit, but that was a concern of mine.
That's a good comment.
And then just the comment on the grading.
Yeah, all around here.
Is trying to keep the wall at a lower height.
Mhm.
And yes, you're right, we are grading in the no-build area.
Yeah, so to me, it's a significant amount of intrusion into that grassy area. And I know there's some pretty large trees in this area at least, and perhaps over there, that would be nice to try to save. I know they don't have to be right where the wall is, because you can't save them from the root systems, but I want to make sure that this area, which is mowed regularly, can be mowed all the way down to the wall.
Yeah, it is a 1-on-3.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay,
So it is mobile.
all right. Well, that's all I'm asking, is to take a look at it and see if maybe we can save some of it. But
Okay.
those two items I had.
Great.
You were looking for comments to address at the next time we
That's
review
very
it.
helpful.
So those are things I thought of since then. So having said that, I think we've done It actually is a public hearing. I should probably make the podium available if there's anyone here that wish to comment on it. It's not going to be closed yet, so there's other opportunities. Okay. With that, we'll guess we'll move on to the next application.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, that was Chick-fil-A. Now we're over the other side of the street, Walmart.
Is it Walmart or?
Walmart addition, Bell Annex, the last item. Applicants requesting approval to construct 1,974 square foot addition onto the northwest side of the existing building in place of existing asphalt. Online pickup and delivery will increase their pickup spots from 8 to 24 hours. So there's several items in here that we need to talk about. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hello, members of the board. My name is Mara McKenzie, project coordinator with Colliers Engineering and Design. I also have Justin Latier, principal engineer, representing the project as well tonight.
So if you could just speak up or speak closer to the microphone a little bit, we can hear you better. Thank you.
Of course. So we're here tonight on behalf of Walmart Stores, Inc. to represent the site and store improvements to the Walmart located at 441 Commerce Drive in the Victor Crossing Plaza. The proposed site and store improvements include an architectural building expansion, an exterior paint update for the front of the store, building signage improvements, exterior lighting updates, and changes are proposed to the online pickup and delivery area, or OPD, which will increase the pickup spots from 8 to 24 in the parking lot. The overall parking count will remain unchanged. The existing store is 99,582 square feet, and I apologize for the amount of numbers I'll read off tonight. The proposed building expansion is 1,974 square feet in place of the existing asphalt at the rear of the store. The new square footage will be 101,556 square feet, bringing the total retail square footage of Victor Crossing to 335,261 square feet. There will be no impact to any existing green space or pervious areas. The intention of the expansion is driven by operational needs to sustain current service levels, and it is also intended to improve the online pickup and delivery operations. The exterior elevation sheets, A2A, shows the exterior paint and signage updates. The existing gray color will be refreshed to a slightly darker gray, and behind the Walmart sign will be painted blue in place of the gray background to match Walmart's current brand standard. The total building sign square footage will be reduced by approximately 199 square feet. The signage emphasizes a simplified look that minimizes visual impact while maintaining the brand's visibility. I do have paint swatches as well for the board's review if they would like to take a look. The overall photometric plan represents the proposed end-of-life bulb replacements, along with the building expansion and the online pickup and delivery associate walkway. We are below the maximum allowed foot candle level of 10 FC max at grade. The bulbs will replace with LED bulbs without reconfiguring any wiring or placement of the light fixtures. The expansion will also include the required emergency lighting, and the existing rear wall packs located on the back of the building will be relocated to the new expansion wall. Thanks to the height of the retaining wall, there is no light spill beyond the property line. Fixtures are full cutoff and do not shine above the 90-degree plane, making them dark sky compliant. We would also like to acknowledge that the proposed project seeks an amendment to the board's final environmental impact statement, or the FEIS, to raise Victor Crossing's total permitted retail area from 323,287 to 335,261 square feet, and the individual building size limitation of 100,000 square feet to 101,556 square feet. Walmart remains committed to preserving the site aesthetics, safety, and full compliance with all applicable regulations, and the expansion improves long-term store efficiency to better serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the board for the applicant? Joe, we'll start with you. It's all one, I
Okay.
believe, combined into one application.
So we did get the Walmart addition first, which requires planning board approval. The Planning and Building Department also did receive 2 building permits for lighting and 1 for signage, which also requires planning board approval. So we had asked Walmart to please combine them since there is a lot with the Walmart. So this was more for you guys as an introduction, because there is still some things missing. But yes, we did ask them to combine them to one planning board submission, so
okay. So,
piecing it together.
thank you. Having said that, because the building expansion itself is on the back side of the building, doesn't seem to have any impact on slope or lighting. I don't see an issue there. And from what I can see, just looking here, I don't think there's issues with paint or signage either. So I think from my admittedly quick review, I don't have anything really further to say.
Okay. Al?
Yeah, I would agree with all of Joe's comments, but the expansion in the back, is that intended to be office space, retail space?
Yes, they will reconfigure some of the areas in the store it's going to be a break room and office space.
Okay,
The front of the store will have the online pickup and delivery staging area.
okay. And then other than repainting and signage, the front facade would remain as is?
Correct.
Okay, I'm good. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Scott?
So the addition is on the back side of the building, between the building and the large retaining wall.
Correct.
Okay. And then relative to the front, it's just getting a facelift or something like that, effectively?
Just getting a little paint.
So to
It
speak.
is getting some rebranding of the signage. So the signs will become smaller and a little bit more simplified, with some more directional. Grocery and home will be on the front of the building, and then all the remaining existing brick will remain untouched. And then there will be a sliding door put next to the front of the building, which I don't know if I'm seeing it on that exact elevation, but that'll be the dispense door for the associates to walk out of with the pickup groceries and the carts. So it'll be a larger door for them to walk out of, the staging area.
Do parking requirements increase because of this change, this addition or anything? Do you need additional stalls?
It'll be negligible because of the size of the expansion. There's no increase or decrease to the parking count.
You have adequate stalls then for what you need?
Yes.
Relative to the lighting, I mean, I've noticed the lighting out there over the years, and I think you're right, the lighting that's out there now is kind of low-level lighting, and it's very well protected. I've seen some of the new lights that are going in that are much more intense. They're LED. Although they may be dark sky compliant, the reflection is noticed by neighbors like me who live nearby. I'm just wondering what might be possible in terms of mitigating that. And as much as I understand the definition of dark sky, and yes, there's a retaining wall there, but I can tell you under certain weather conditions, there's light pollution that's generated from the site.
Understood. Yeah, we can adjust the color temperature and the lumen level after further review of the foot candle levels.
Okay, those are my comments.
Okay. One of my comments was regarding lighting as well. Are there any poles being replaced on the main parking area?
No.
So all the
poles remain the same.
lighting that's going in will be at or below what's there now,
Correct.
level-wise, okay. Is there a anticipated or a desired change in, we'll call it light phasing, or after closing hours or anything like that, or even during, where there's a phased dimming, I guess you'd say, or shut off of certain lights from the outside of the parking lot to only close to the store as necessary for, maintenance and deliveries and things like that, correct?
Yes, that was something that was discussed with our lighting vendor, and they are able to accommodate adjusting the panel in the store currently to allow for dimming of the light poles in the parking lot.
Okay.
If that is something that the board
All right.
wishes to see.
Yeah, the neighbors were, I think I'm the only one on the board now that was here when the initial project was approved.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big sticking points was light, as I guess you're hearing, but those people in the neighborhoods are directly adjacent to the site were very concerned about light pollution. So if there's a need, or if there's a desire to change it, that's going to take some increased scrutiny, let's put it that way.
Understood.
So-
And if there's an ability to dim, as mentioned, I think
Yeah.
that's a great tool.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it went from 0 to more global dimming, that might be an option to look at and experiment with, perhaps, because I'm pretty sure you can do that, especially with all the LEDs. So, yeah. I did ask Wes if he could show us a view, street view of the backside of Walmart along there, and if Susie could switch over to his computer. Just for the board and the public's information, it's, and if Wes, you could rotate a little to the left to see the wall. You kind of,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, all right, so if you just do that.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned early on that the light spill would be below that wall.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to know unless you're out there looking at it from the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something I wanted to present to everyone here, that
Yes.
you could get a better sense of what actually would be
Mm-hmm.
by a change in location of those wall packs, which are 40 feet or whatever it is along the backside of that building.
Absolutely. Probably, I mean, I'm making a guesstimate here that there would probably be at least 10 feet off of the retaining wall, where there would be, I think, 1.7 foot candles right
Okay.
there in front of the wall.
So trucks come and deliver back here, right? I mean, is it the
Correct.
far end, or is it, I don't know if these doors are just quick delivery doors?
Those will
It's
be
not-
emergency egress doors.
Okay,
This is the store manager.
I'm Candace Brzezinski. I'm the store manager of the Victor Walmart.
Hi.
We actually do not have any
if you
delivery.
could step right up
Yes,
to the mic.
of course.
Thank you.
We do not have any delivery trucks that enter our building from that way. They actually enter from the opposite side of the building. So we have no tractor trailer traffic across that backside.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your being here. This is a public hearing, so I'll open it up to the public. If anyone has any questions, comments for the applicant, now's the time. Okay, Wes, your turn.
Thanks. I just wanted to follow up on the lighting comments that have been offered already tonight. And there is an existing operational hours approved lighting plan with approved illumination intensities. Do you have a copy of that? And then there's also an approved after-hours lighting plan with the foot candles that are reduced. Some fixtures are turned off. So those were a result of the FEIS, the findings, and I just wanted to see if you have those, because what I'm seeing that was presented in front of us was a single lighting plan with illumination levels that appeared in some places to be, I don't know if I want to use the word significantly higher, but higher than what I saw in the operational hours lighting plan.
Yes, so originally, Walmart has multiple divisions and teams that handle, certain sections of it. So the lighting part team did not have a copy of that information. I don't have a physical copy of the plans. I do have this conditional approval document and the FEIS, so I have shared that with them. Unfortunately, a significant revision of the plan wasn't available
All right.
before.
I think if you want a copy, we can get copies of those approved lighting plans to you. And I just suspect from what I'm hearing is that the planning board probably wouldn't want to see a whole lot of change in the illumination levels at the site compared to what was approved previously.
Yes, sir.
With that, Adam, do you have anything in particular that you wanted to chat on with the lighting plan?
Good idea.
The code enforcement?
No, I haven't done a complete review, but I would agree with what you're saying, that in comparing their lighting plan to the previous approved lighting plans, the levels are somewhat significantly different. The other thing is, she said they're using the existing poles. I'm not sure how tall those are. I'd have to take a look, but on their plan, they're calling 27-foot tall poles on 3-foot bases, and I feel like 30 feet
They're not
is higher
27.
than what was approved for.
My recollection is 21 to 22 feet, something on that order. Not-
Yes, they are.
Not 30.
Yeah, there's just, I did notice that, today, actually, when I was looking at it. They are, they didn't have survey information available at that time. They are 25 feet, 3-foot bases on 22-foot poles out there currently.
So with that in mind, back to Scott's comments and concerns, it would bringing the lighting in compliance with the existing plans address Scott's concerns? Or do we need to look further at adjusting color temperatures and lumens?
That's a good question.
Or maybe one step at a time, I suppose, huh?
I mean, if, what we're seeing out there now, I believe, compared to what was originally built, is we're seeing, much more intensity. The lights are stronger. And maybe that's because conservatively, when the plaza was first built, they went with a lower illumination than they probably could have. But there were some changes thereafter, as I recall, from a timing perspective. I think we'd be interested in anything that you can present to us that would agree with what was previously approved, latest edition, and anything that new technology may give us in terms of better control. And maybe we could add more mitigation just to be good neighbors.
Understood.
Part of the town's, well, the town's lighting code, when it was adopted, it was intended to help preserve the night sky, the dark sky compliant fixtures. You talk about full cutoff light fixtures, those are great. I think I may have seen in your lighting plan a proposed spotlight that would be shining on the United States flag. That would be projected upwards, and I think currently the approved plan has a flagpole top that has maybe some small LED lights pointing kind of downward at the flag, which, is kind of in concert with what the town is trying to do, not shine lights up into the sky. So I don't have my comments in a formal letter yet, but I'll put those in a letter so that you have a record of them.
Okay.
We'll probably want to get those addressed.
Were there any hours of operation proposed or requested on this application?
The store closes at 11. The hours of operation will not be changed.
Okay, good. All right, I don't know if we need to keep the public hearing open.
Okay.
Guys okay with closing the public hearing? All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll move.
Al moves, Joe seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing's closed, and we'll see at the next, when you're ready to review the updated plans and requirements, so,
Sure.
okay,
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
thank you.
Did you want to leave those swatches? And then, I don't know if you saw it, she had some swatches of the color.
Oh, I didn't. but-
I know you were leaning over.
Can I pass them around?
Oh, yeah. I don't think some of them had an opportunity.
Walmart gray and blue, right? Ah. Okay, thank you.
Works for me.
All right, last but not least, and I appreciate their patience, Bell Atlantic at High Point. Applicants requesting approval to install a new 28-foot AGL decorative antenna pole with a top-mounted antenna on a proposed concrete base in an existing parking lot. Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. Nice to see you again. It's very rare when I come in and represent, I've been representing Verizon Wireless for years here. And I think you may know that Nixon Peabody moved its office to 300, or 211 High Point Drive on July 21st. A little embarrassing as the managing partner of the firm to walk in the first day and our phones don't work. And so I can often talk to you about the need for the project. I'm telling you, my professional life is depending on getting this thing built. Again, we're operating on the Wi-Fi network, but the Verizon phones on top of the hill there don't work because as I think you know from other projects, the wireless telecommunications facilities for Verizon's network that operate on the 96 corridor are located on the front of the Cobblestone Court building, shining into Eastview Mall. And High Point's up on top of the hill, and the service is poor. So what you can see there is the existing, I know one of the questions that was asked is what is the height of the existing tower, our existing light poles. Our engineer responded to me this morning, they're 27 and a half feet. So our proposed pole, decorative pole designed for hosting wireless telecommunications replacement light pole is 28 feet. So again, it's a half foot taller with the 2-foot microcell antenna located on the pole. It's this site location is chosen for a minute on purpose. There are 3 buildings up there, so it's in front of the middle building so that it can reach all 3 buildings. All 3 buildings are actually suffering from a lack of coverage in the building. I know that because I've been in contact with the head of Broadstone Real Estate, who is running there, having difficulty making any type of call and stuff out of their building. So again, it's a fantastic facility to run our office. We just cannot make calls up on top of that hill. So it's essential that we get it. We are we're working with other wireless providers to try to get boosters in the building as well.
The amazing thing is that this is the first request we've gotten since Constellation built their facility. I can't believe that.
It's embarrassing. I was on the phone with a judge and the phone dropped. So I mean, this is a dire situation, and I can't emphasize that enough.
5G facility, I assume.
Sorry?
You're putting 5G capabilities up there?
It is the Verizon 4G. There are additional. It's going to have multiple frequencies on it. It's not the typical. It's a typical small cell, the same one that you see on 96 out in front of the 490 corridor that we put on. It's that same thing. It's not the millimeter wave. It will have 5G capability, but not the 5G that people talk about.
Okay.
So it's you can see again, they're just replacing a light pole. There's not anything complicated. All the equipment is on the pole.
The lights will all be at the same level that they currently are on that pole?
Sorry, the what?
The lights will be at the same level as they
Yes.
currently are, just the pole sticks up higher from one of those pictures I think you showed.
Yep.
Simulations, so. Scott, questions?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't have any questions.
Al?
Well, the only question I had was, did they explore mounting it on the building, on one of the rooftops, as an alternate to a new pole?
We did. The issue.
You speak a little closer to the
I am
microphone.
so sorry.
That's all
I
right.
should have heard that by now. They needed to see all 3 buildings. And so placing it on, they were originally going to put it on the top of our building, right? Because it was I that called Verizon and said, "God help me." And and so, as Jeff can attest, so we instead of putting it on ours, the farthest building, they wanted to put it in the middle to service all of the buildings.
Okay. Otherwise, no other questions. It seems pretty straightforward.
Yep, Joe?
Normally, with an application like this, we'd be concerned with view sheds and all of that, but I think, given the location, it's not an issue, so I've got no questions.
I agree with all of what you've heard, so, Wes, any questions from your perspective?
Nothing too significant. Labella did issue a letter dated August 22nd, just commented on seeker for comment number 1. Some small revision to the plan indicating, let's see, a project summary on title sheet Z1 to include that the property is located within Route 96 251 overlay district. Really, not really substantive to the physical change to the site. You've addressed the lighting comment about confirming the height of the fixture. That was helpful. An access easement, we were recommending, looks like we were recommending that the proposed access easement be executed prior to the issuance of a building permit. I don't know how quickly that would be done. Is there an
I
access
think
easement
that
that's
the
required?
lease has been executed by the landlord and is going through Verizon's approval process.
Okay.
We have access through our lease, so I think we'll try to do that. I think the access is provided in the lease, so it's been executed by the landlord.
Yeah.
So it's just going through Verizon's. To be honest, if I received your comment letter, I don't have a recollection of it.
Okay.
So I answered the question because when I called and confirmed the agenda, that was a question raised to me. If there is other comments, and I answered them, it was by the grace of God, totally
Okay.
random. If there's any other comments that you need answers for,
Yeah.
if it was emailed to me, I don't recall receiving it.
Okay.
I can re-email it to you
All right,
tomorrow.
that'd be great. I'm sorry, it may have been,
Yeah, there's no showstoppers in our letter, so.
okay.
And it's typically conditional approval, once you've addressed them all. Pretty straightforward. So, public hearing, if there's anyone here that has a question from our public. Dave's all set. Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move to close.
Joe moves.
Second.
Al seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So with that, I believe we have a draft resolution, but I don't know if I have a copy of it. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so with that, Bell Atlantic DBA Verizon Wireless, 211 High Point Drive, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, there are 11 of them, and whereas the Town of Victor Planning Board, as lead agency, has reviewed and considered Part 1 of the environmental assessment form, application materials, public comments, and environmental record concerning their proposed action, as well as completed all applicable Parts 2 and 3. I don't know if this is applicable or not. Well, let's put it this way, we've found no impact. Now therefore be resolved that no potential significant adverse environmental impacts were identified with the proposed action using the criteria for determining significance identified in 6 NYCRR Section 617(7)(c)(1) and in accordance with 6 New York's NYCRR Section 617(7)(c)(2) and 3, and the Town of Victor Planning Board hereby finds and concludes that the proposed action does not present a potential significant adverse environmental impact, and hereby issues a negative declaration. And be it further resolved that the application of Bell Atlantic Mobile Systems LLC DBA Verizon, Nixon Peabody, or Peabody, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Okay, my sister's in Boston, so. LLP, 1275 John Street, Suite 100, West Trinorita, New York, 14586. Site plan entitled Bell Atlantic DBA Verizon Wireless at High Point, drawn by Costas Engineering, dated March 4th, 2025, received by the Planning Board Secretary July 16th, 2025, Planning Board Site Plan Application 24 SP 2025, and Special Use Application Number 8 SU 2025 be approved with the following conditions. Number 1 is standard. Number 2, comments in a letter dated August 22nd, 2025 from LaBella Associates be addressed. And number 3, that a building permit be obtained before construction begins. And be it further resolved that the Planning Board Secretary distribute the Planning Board's approval letter. Do I hear a motion to approve this resolution?
Move it.
Scott moves,
Second.
and Al seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 4-0. So,
Thank God I'm going to be able to order chicken.
happy communicating. All right.
Thank you very much for your prompt processing of the application.
You're welcome. Glad you're here. In Victor. So, again, there's no meeting next September 9th. The next meeting is September 22nd, was it? Or 23rd, thank you.
Well, there's no meeting until the 23rd then?
Right.
We
Yes.
don't have,
We don't have a quorum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both Joe and I are gone on the next meeting, and Ernie is
That's right, yeah.
unable to be at the meeting, so.
are you are here?
Yes, I am.
23rd, okay.
Okay, so you need to get together with Lisa
Yes.
and Wes, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks in advance.
She'll coordinate with me.
Yeah,
Yep, she's
right.
good at that.
Nah.
Yeah.
Just show up.
I will.
Maybe you see Adam, maybe not. Most likely Keith. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And thank you all. Have a great rest of your evening.